Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the last lecture, we talk about the different components of commissural fibers which connect the right with left cerebral hemisphere. Now, what will happen if we cut the commissural fibers? You know, the components of commissural fibers are the corpus callosum, anterior commissure, commissure of the fornix, so if we cut all these commissural fibers which are in the form of corpus callosum, anterior commissure and commissure of the fornix, it will result in split brain syndrome. Split brain syndrome, also known as the twin brain syndrome. So in this condition, some of the functions will be affected. Most of the functions of right or left cerebral will not be affected, but some of the function will be affected. So what will be the effects of split brain syndrome? Split brain syndrome or twin brain syndrome. Number one, the sensations conveyed from the right hand to the left cerebral hemisphere may differ from general sensation conveyed from the left hand to the right cerebral hemisphere. You know, in most of the people, it is the left cerebral hemisphere which is dominant because 90% of the population of the world is right-handed. So the general sensations conveyed from right hand to the left cerebral hemisphere may differ from general sensations conveyed from left hand to the right cerebral hemisphere. Number two, right hand will be unaware about what the left hand is doing. Right hand, suppose, is performing some activity. The right hand will not know what the left hand is doing. For example, with the right hand, the patient will be buttoning his shirt, and with the left hand, the patient will be at the same time unbuttoning the shirt. In this way, there is no coordination between these two, and patient will be unaware about what the left hand is doing at the same time when the right hand is performing some functions. Then patient will not be able to name an object held in the right hand, patient will not be able to recognize or to name an object held in the right hand. It is because the major cerebral hemisphere, what is that? That is left cerebral hemisphere, which in more than 90% of the cases, which is dominant. The major hemisphere, that is left hemisphere, function is to name an object. So naming of object is the function of dominant hemisphere, major or left hemisphere. So in such cases, when the patient is holding some object in the right hand, he will not be able to name that object. In case of these, in case of the split brain syndrome or twin brain syndrome. So these were some of the major effects of cutting all the commissural fibers and separating the right and left cerebral hemisphere. So most of the functions will be there except these few functions. So this was about the twin brain syndrome. Now we finished with the association fibers. Then we discuss the commissural fibers. Next is the projection fibers. Projection fibers. Now, projection fibers are those which connect the cerebral cortex with the diencephalon, gray matter in the spinal cord, gray matter of the brainstem, cerebellum, etc. So they arise from the cerebral cortex, leave the cerebral hemisphere, and descend through the brainstem and spinal cord. And in this way, cerebral cortex is connected with the gray matter outside the cerebrum, that is brainstem, spinal cord, cerebellum, and also diencephalon. Now this is a vertical section through the cerebral hemisphere. The cerebral cortex outside and white matter inside. And embedded in the white matter of each cerebral hemisphere are nuclei. Then this section continued to pass through the midbrain, pons, medulla oblongata, which continue as the spinal cord. Now projection fibers there are of two types: sensory fibers and motor fibers. Sensory fibers, also known as ascending fibers, also known as afferent fibers, also known as the centripetal fibers, and then motor fibers, also known as descending fibers, also known as efferent, fibers, also known as centrifugal fibers. So all these projection fibers to and from the cerebral cortex, they are divided into these two major types: sensory and motor. The sensory fibers, they convey sensations from the periphery towards the spinal cord, brainstem, and the cerebral cortex, while the motor fibers from the motor cortex, they pass through the cerebral hemisphere, brainstem, spinal cord, cerebellum, and supply the muscles for motor activity. So all these fibers connecting the cerebral cortex with other parts of the brain are sensory and motor fibers. These are the types of fibers. Now these fibers do not run singly, they run in bundles known as the tracts, which I will explain later on. So several sensory and motor fibers, they are crowded together to form sensory and motor tracts, which ascend and descend through the white matter of brain and spinal cord. These were the types of fibers running through the brain, spinal cord, as projection fibers. Now the sensory fibers. The sensory fibers, they ascend from gray matter of spinal cord and brainstem. Cerebellum, diencephalon. They ascend through gray matter of the spinal cord, then gray matter of the brainstem, that is the medulla oblongata, pons, midbrain, then cerebellum enter the cerebrum, where they enter the diencephalon. So you know, diencephalon also comprises of thalamus and hypothalamus. So all these sensory fibers, relay in thalamus. Except sense of olfaction. From the thalamus, they pass to enter the sensory cortex. From the thalamus, they pass to the internal capsule. Traverse through corona radiata, and terminate in the sensory cortex. In the sensory cortex of cerebral hemisphere. So the ascending fibers are sensory fibers carrying different sensations, general sensation. They first of all ascend through the white matter of spinal cord, then ascend through the white matter of brainstem, that is medulla oblongata, pons and midbrain. Also they arise from the cerebellum, enter the cerebrum to have connection with the diencephalon. And one of the major component of diencephalon is thalamus. So all these sensory fibers, they relay in the thalamus. Thalamus is a relay station for all the sensations except sense of smell or olfaction. The fibers carrying sense of smell do not relay in the thalamus. From the thalamus, the fibers arise and pass through the internal capsule, which is also mass of the white matter with basal ganglion we discussed. Then it passes through corona radiata, that I will discuss later on, and terminate in the sensory cortex. These are the course of the, this is the course of the sensory fibers. Then next, motor fibers. Motor fibers are descending, are efferent fibers, are centrifugal fibers. These arise from cerebral cortex. So these motor fibers connect the motor cortex with diencephalon, cerebellum, gray matter of brainstem, gray matter of brainstem, gray matter of spinal cord. So you have seen the sensory fibers carrying sensation from periphery towards the sensory cortex is reversed of this. That is, they traverse through the gray matter of spinal cord, the sensory fibers, then gray matter of the brainstem, cerebellum, diencephalon, and relay in the thalamus, and connect with the sensory cortex. And as far as the motor fibers are concerned, same connections but in reverse direction, in descending order. The motor fibers connect the motor cortex of cerebral hemisphere with the diencephalon, cerebellum, gray matter of the brainstem, and gray matter of the spinal cord. So this occurs in a descending manner. Now the sensory fibers, as they ascend, the sensory fibers in the form of tracts, they ascend number one through funiculi of spinal cord, especially the posterior funiculus of the spinal cord. Then they continue to ascend through the tegmentum of brainstem. You know, the brainstem comprised of midbrain, pons, medulla oblongata, and then it's continued as spinal cord. Spinal cord, medulla, pons, midbrain. Now spinal cord, I told you, comprised of gray matter and white matter. So if you cut a section of the spinal cord, traversed by the central canal, then inside is the gray matter, outside is the white matter. Gray matter, anterior horn, posterior horn in each half. Now outside, this is gray matter in the form of funiculi. And you know, this is anterior funiculus. This is lateral funiculus, and this is posterior funiculus in each half of the spinal cord. So the ascending tracts, they ascend through the funiculi of the spinal cord, especially the posterior funiculus, where there are two major sensory tracts, tractus gracilis and tractus cuneatus. Then what about the brainstem, midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata? Suppose this is section through midbrain, that is pons, and this is medulla oblongata, brainstem. So brainstem, midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata we divide into two parts, ventral part and dorsal part. This is anterior part, ventral part of midbrain, pons, medulla oblongata, and this is the dorsal part. This is dorsal part of the midbrain, dorsal part of the pons, dorsal part of the medulla oblongata, collectively known as the tegmentum. So dorsal part of the brainstem, this is tegmentum of the midbrain, this is tegmentum of the pons, and this is tegmentum of the medulla oblongata. Then this is ventral part. Ventral part anteriorly is the crus cerebri. This is ventral part of the pons, and ventral part of the medulla oblongata known as the pyramid. So the ventral part are differently named. The dorsal part of midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata, collectively known as the tegmentum. Tegmentum of the midbrain. Now, ventral part of the ventral part of the brainstem. So the ventral part of the midbrain is known as crus cerebri. The ventral part of the pons is known as ventral part or basilar part of the pons, and this ventral part of the medulla oblongata are the pyramids, right and left pyramid. So ventral part of the brainstem is separately named. Ventral part of the midbrain is called crus cerebri. Ventral part of the pons is called ventral part or basilar part, and ventral part of the medulla oblongata is the pyramids, while dorsal part of the midbrain, pons, medulla oblongata collectively known as the tegmentum. So these sensory fibers, they ascend through the funiculi of the spinal cord, anterior, lateral and posterior. So it is mainly the posterior funiculus through which major sensory tracts they ascend. And then leaving the spinal cord, they enter the tegmentum of the midbrain. So these ascending, the sensory fibers run through the tegmentum of the brainstem, tegmentum of the medulla oblongata, tegmentum of the pons, the tegmentum of the medulla oblongata, tegmentum of the pons, and tegmentum of the midbrain. And then they enter the cerebral hemisphere and have connection with the diencephalon. And then relay in the thalamus. Relay in the thalamus. Now from thalamus, fibers arise known as the thalamocortical fibers. Because these fibers, the sensory tracts, when they relay in the thalamus, from the thalamus nerve fibers arise known as the thalamocortical fibers. Why they are called thalamocortical fibers? Because these fibers connect the thalamus with the sensory cortex. So the sensory fibers comprise of different tracts and thalamocortical fibers. These thalamocortical fibers, when they arise from the thalamus, they pass through the internal capsule, corona radiata, and relay in the sensory cortex. These thalamocortical fibers first pass through the internal capsule, number two, they run through the corona radiata, which I will explain later on. Corona radiata, and then they relay in the sensory cortex. The primary sensory cortex and the secondary sensory cortex. Broad main cortical area 3, 1, 2, post-central gyrus, etc. So this is a little more detail about the course of sensory fibers which run in bundles forming the sensory tracts, which are also known as the ascending fibers, also known as the afferent fibers, also known as the centripetal fibers. After entering the spinal cord, they run through the white matter of spinal cord, and the white matter of spinal cord known as the funiculi, anterior, lateral, and posterior funiculi. Then enter the brainstem. The posterior part of the brainstem is known as tegmentum, so they ascend through the posterior part of the brainstem, not anterior part. Sensory tracts pass through the posterior parts of the brainstem, known as the tegmentum of the medulla oblongata, pons, and midbrain. Enter the cerebrum and relay in the diencephalon, and one of the major component diencephalon, thalamus. From the thalamus, nerve, where these fibers relay, and from the thalamus nerve fibers arise, which collectively known as the thalamocortical fibers. These, after passing through internal capsule, corona radiata, relay in the sensory cortex. This is a little more detail about the ascending or sensory fibers. Now come to the motor fibers. Next, motor fibers are descending fibers, are efferent fibers, are centrifugal fibers. As I told you, they connect the motor cortex with the diencephalon, with the cerebellum, with the gray matter of the brainstem, with the gray matter of the spinal cord, and then supply the muscles to perform motor activity. So this is a section, vertical section through the cerebrum. So these fibers, they arise from cerebral cortex, sensory cortex. Sorry, not sensory cortex, motor cortex. And all these motor fibers are descending fibers. They converge on corpus striatum. Motor cortex. These descending are motor fibers. They descend through each cerebellum sphere and converge on the corpus striatum. You know, basal ganglia, major part is corpus striatum, different nuclei. And these nuclei are separated from each other by inverted V-shaped band of nerve fibers known as the internal capsule. So suppose this is the internal capsule. It is not like this, but to simplify the diagram, I run this. This is, suppose, internal capsule, which is the band of white matter. Now, these fibers which arise from the motor cortex, they converge on the basal ganglion, corpus striatum, in a fan-shaped manner. In a fan-shaped manner, and is known as the corona radiata. From here you can see they spread out in a fan-shaped manner, crown-like corona. This way, this bundle of fibers running to right and left cerebellum sphere is named as corona radiata. And all these project, converge on the corpus striatum. And all the bundle of these fibers, they are crowded together while passing through the nuclei of basal ganglion. I told you that there is a lentiform nucleus divided into putamen and globus pallidus, then colostrum, then caudate nucleus, lentiform nucleus, claustrum, and here is part of the diencephalon thalamus. So I told you between these major nuclei of the basal ganglion there is an inverted V-shaped band of white matter known as the internal capsule. This is anterior limb of the internal capsule. This is posterior limb of the internal capsule, and this is genu of the internal capsule. And there are other parts also that we will explain later on when we will discuss the internal capsule. So all these five motor fibers, they converge on the corpus striatum in a fan-shaped manner known as the corona radiata, then pass through the internal capsule. This green one indicates internal capsule. It is not shaped like this, but to simplify the diagram, I have drawn it like this. Otherwise, in section, it appears like this inverted V-shaped band of white matter traversing through the major nuclei of the of the basal ganglion. Now brainstem posterior part is the tegmentum and the anterior part, and then it's continued as spinal cord. Now after passing through the internal capsule, these fibers descend through the ventral part of the midbrain. Ventral part of the midbrain. That is known as crus cerebri. The ventral surface of the midbrain to column-like structure known as the crus cerebri. Then these fibers from the midbrain, crus cerebri, continue to descend through the ventral part of the pons. This is ventral or basilar part of the pons. Ventral or basilar part of pons. From the pons they descend to pass through medulla oblongata, ventral part of the medulla oblongata. Ventral part of the medulla oblongata, that is pyramids. We talk about pyramids when we will discussing the external features of the brain, and from it continue into the fibers continue to descend through the spinal cord. Now which part of the spinal cord? Funiculi of spinal cord, white matter of the spinal cord which surround the gray matter and divided into the anterior funiculus, lateral funiculus, posterior funiculus in each half of the spinal cord. So to compare these sensory fibers, now we talk about the motor fibers. The motor fibers as compared to sensory fiber are carrying motor information. They are descending, so they arise from the motor cortex from all sides, then they converge on the corpus striatum of the basal ganglion. This part is in a fan-shaped manner, and the fibers appears like radiating upwards and outwards in a faint shade manner, known as the corona radiata. Then all these fibers, they pass between the nuclei of basal ganglion, where they are in the form of a compact bundle of nerve fibers, known as the internal capsule. So after passing through the internal capsule, these fibers enter the midbrain and continue to descend through the anterior part of the midbrain, that is the crus cerebri, right crus, left crus. Then they leave the crus cerebri to descend through the ventral or basilar part of the pons. Leaving the pons, then they pass through the ventral part of the medulla oblongata, known as the pyramid, and then they enter the spinal cord, where they descend through anterior, lateral, and posterior funiculi of the spinal cord. Now you can see this part is the posterior part, tegmentum of the midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata, and then there is spinal cord. And this is traversed by sensory tracts, just we discussed, which ascend through the tegmentum of the medulla oblongata, tegmentum of the pons, tegmentum of the midbrain, enter the cerebrum, have connection with the cerebellum here, and in the cerebrum have connection with diencephalon, relay in the thalamus, and from the thalamus the corticothalamic fibers arise, which pass through the internal capsule, coronary radiata, and relay in the sensory cortex. So in opposite direction the sensory fibers, they run. Now a little more detail about these fibers. I told you these fibers do not run singly, whether sensory fibers or the motor fibers. They run in bundles. Now what is a tract? How we will define a tract? And what is the peripheral nerve? Tract, also known as fasciculus. Tracts are fasciculi. How we will define a tract or fasciculus? That is bundle of nerve fibers Axons are also known as nerve fibers. So bundle of nerve fibers are axons having similar origin. Having similar course. Having similar termination. And similar function is known as a tract or fasciculus. Remember, do not confuse this term fasciculus with funiculus. Fasciculus is the other name for a tract, or funiculus is mass of white matter of spinal cord. Anterior funiculus, lateral funiculus, posterior funiculus. And in each funiculi there are ascending and descending tracts. This is fasciculus. Now what is a peripheral nerve? As compared to tract, peripheral nerve. Bundle of nerve fibers. These fasciculi are tract. The fasciculi are tracts which are sensory and motor. Sensory tracts and motor tracts. Sensory and motor tracts. They ascend and descend through the white matter tracts, ascend the sensory tracts, and descend, that is the motor tracts. Within the white matter, within the white matter of brain and spinal cord. Within the white matter, they ascend and descend in the form of ascending and descending motor or sensory tracts in the white matter of brain and spinal cord, that is cerebellum, brainstem, and spinal cord. Now the peripheral nerves, they arise from brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nerves arise from brain and spinal cord. On base of this, we divide these peripheral nerves into cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Those peripheral nerves which arise from the brain and have surface attachment with the brain are grouped as cranial nerves, and those nerves, peripheral nerves which arise from the spinal cord, are known as the spinal nerves. So what is a peripheral nerve? Again, bundle of nerve fibers, bundle of nerve fibers are axons outside the central nervous system, outside the brain and spinal cord. So you have seen bundle of nerve fibers within the white matter of the brain and spinal cord is known as a tract or fasciculus, which are motor and sensory, and bundle of nerve fibers which arise from the brain and spinal cord and run through the different parts of the body, head, neck, trunk, upper limb, lower limb, outside the CNS, is known as the peripheral nerves. For example, radial nerve, ulnar nerve, sciatic nerve, cranial nerves, they are bundle of nerve fibers, are axons, but located outside the white matter and tract inside the white matter. Now I will a little more explain the fasciculus. Now suppose this is a fasciculus comprising of not single nerve fibers but several nerve fibers are axons. Bundle of nerve fibers are axons. This is one bundle of nerve fiber or axon. And for example, another bundle of nerve fibers are axons. Then another bundle of nerve fibers. So this explains to some extent the definition of the fasciculi or tracts. Now what are the fasciculi or tracts? They are bundle of nerve fibers, not single nerve fibers. Now what is a tract? Bundle of nerve fibers having common origin, common course, common termination and common function is a tract. Now can you see this tract have different origin, termination and course. Compare with this one origin from here, and this is the course termination here, and having different function. This is another tract, and this is another tract having different origin, course, termination, and function. So in this diagram, I have tried to show you 3 tracts just to explain this definition. These are bundle of nerve fibers, and all these run in the white matter of brain and spinal cord. And when these bundles leave the spinal cord and brain, they are labeled as the peripheral nerves, and those which arise from the brain are called cranial nerves, and those which arise from the spinal cord, they are called they are named as the spinal nerves. Now, what are the examples of these ascending and descending motor sensory tracts? So first of all, what are the examples of the motor tracts? Or fasciculi. Motor tracts are fasciculi. Cerebrum, midbrain, pons, medulla oblongata, which is continued below as spinal cord. Here is cerebellum. Cerebral cortex. Now, for example, what are the examples of motor tracts? That is cortico-rubral, tract, cortico-pontine tract, corticonuclear tracts, corticospinal tracts, which are also known as pyramidal tracts. These are examples of descending or motor or efferent tracts, also known as the centrifugal tracts. Now, first of all, cortico-rubral tracts arise from the cerebral cortex, passes through the corona radiata, internal capsule, and enter the midbrain, where these tracts end in the red nucleus. Red nucleus of the midbrain. So these are known as the cortico-rubral tracts. From the motor cortex run through the corona radiata, then internal capsule, then enter the midbrain where they terminate at the red nucleus, corticonuclear tracts. Then next corticopontine arising from the cerebral cortex, descend through the corona radiata, descend through the intral capsule, continue to descend through the midbrain and enter the pons where they end in the pontine nuclei. This is why these tracts are known as the corticopontine tracts. Then again, bundle of nerve fibers arise from the motor cortex, descend through the corona radiata, passes through the internal capsule, descend through the pons without relay, and enter the medulla oblongata, where they terminate in different nuclei of the brain stem, nuclei of the medulla oblongata, corticonuclear tracts, and in the nuclei of the medulla. Then corticospinal tracts arising from the motor cortex, descend through the corona radiata to the internal capsule, continue to descend through the midbrain, pons without relay, through the medulla oblongata, enter the spinal cord and terminate at different levels. These tracts which arise from the motor cortex and at different levels in the spinal cord are known as corticospinal tracts, also known as the pyramidal tracts because they run they descend through the pyramids of the medulla oblongata. So this is a little more detail about different tracts, what are the different descending or motor tracts and where they terminate. So you can see it is only the corticospinal pyramidal tracts which descend throughout the cerebral mesosphere, midbrain, pons, medulla oblongata, and here. The corticonuclear tracts only into the medulla oblongata, do not continue into the spinal cord. Then the corticopontine fibers relay in the pons, absent in the medulla oblongata and spinal cord. And then the corticorubral from the cortex and terminate in the midbrain red nucleus and do not continue into the pons, medulla oblongata and spinal cord. So these are corticorubral tracts. These are corticopontine. Tracts. These are corticonuclear tracts, and these are corticospinal tracts. So this was a little more detail about these tracts. Now, what are these sensory tracts? Sensory tracts are ascending tracts. Tracts are fasciculi. That is tractus gracilis. Tractus cuneatus. You know, in the external feature we talk about the gracile tubercle, cuneate tubercle in the posterior part of the medulla oblongata. So these sensory tracts, tractus gracilis and cuneatus, they ascend through the posterior part or tegmentum of the medulla oblongata. Then there is another tract lateral lemniscus, then lateral spinothalamic tract, then trigeminal lemniscus, tract is named as fasciculus, also known as lemniscus. So trigeminal lemniscus. Then there is medial lemniscus. So these are some of the major sensory or ascending tractus gracilis, tractus cuneatus, ascending in the posterior funiculus of the spinal cord. Then lateral lemniscus, lateral spinothalamic tract, trigeminal lemniscus, and medial lemniscus. They ascend through the tegmentum of the, through different funiculi of the spinal cord, especially posterior funiculus, then through the tegmentum of the medulla oblongata, pons, midbrain, then enter the cerebellum esophageal. And then these tracts, they relay in the thalamus. They relay in the thalamus. And from the thalamus, thalamocortical fibers arise. Fibers, they arise and they terminate in the sensory cortex. All these tracts, they relay in the thalamus. So thalamus is a relay station for all the sensation except sense of smell. From the thalamus, nerve fibers arise, known as the thalamocortical fibers, which then terminate in the sensory cortex. Now there is a mass of white matter, this ventral part, the white matter excess. What is white matter excess and what are its different components? Mass of white matter excess. And tracing from above downwards, what are its components? Number one, corona. Radiata. Corona radiata, a mass of white matter, converge on the corpus stratum. Then all the fibers of corona radiata, they pass through the internal capsule, which is a band of white matter between some major nuclei of the internal nuclei of the basal ganglia. Then they descend through the ventral part of the midbrain, through crus cerebri, of midbrain. Then this mass of white matter descends through the ventral part of the pons. Ventral or basilar part of what? Of pons. Then this mass of white matter leave the pons and run through the ventral part of the medulla oblongata in the form of pyramids, descending through medulla oblongata. And from the medulla oblongata, these continue to descend through various funiculi of spinal cord. So this is just a summary of different components of this mass of white matter, starting from motor cortex through cerebral hemisphere, midbrain, pons, medulla, and then spinal cord. This ventral part comprising of descending or motor tracts. Now, what is the summary? That all these parts of the white matter of the brain and spinal cord comprise of which fibers? Sensory fibers, motor fibers. So here is suppose thalamus. I told you all the ascending tracts except sense of smell, they relay in the thalamus, and from the thalamus then what arises? Thalamocortical fibers. Which passes through the internal capsule and then through corona radiata. These red line fibers indicate sensory fibers. Now suppose these are different sensory or ascending tracts, which we have named just now. Ascending or sensory tracts, different tracts, shown by this black line, ascending through the tegmentum of the brain and spinal cord. All these sensory tracts relay in the thalamus, except the sense of olfaction fibers. From the thalamus, then the nerve fibers arise, which are known as the thalamocortical fibers. These thalamocortical fibers arising from thalamus, carrying sensations, pass through the internal capsule. Then the sensory fibers radiate through corona radiata and terminate in the sensory cortex. So just to summarize, first of all, the corona radiata. It comprises of which fibers? Both motor and sensory. Sensory fibers means thalamocortical fibers. Corona radiata is a mixture of, you can see the blue lines and red lines. Blue lines indicate motor fibers, descending tracts, and red lines indicate the thalamocortical or sensory fibers, which terminate in the sensory cortex. Then internal capsule, you can see both motor fibers, the blue one, and also the thalamocortical sensory fiber. Internal capsule also comprise of motor, tracts or fibers and sensory. What are sensory? Thalamocortical. So you have seen that this part of the white matter axis, corona radiata, internal capsule, is a mixture of motor fibers and sensory fibers. Then come to the crus cerebrus, only motor fibers, no sensory fibers. Only motor fibers. So the crus cerebri of the midbrain comprise of only descending or motor fibers or tracts. The ventral part of the pons, again only motor fibers. Only motor fibers. Sensory fibers are sent through the tegmentum posterior part, and then pyramids of the medulla oblongata. Only motor fibers. So you can see this mass of white matter. Of this, it is only the corona radiata and internal capsule which are comprising of both motor fibers, motor tracts, and sensory fibers or sensory tracts. Rest of the part of the brainstem, ventral part of the brainstem, midbrain, postbrain, and they comprise of only motor fibers. So with this, we finish with the projection fibers. So both associational fibers, commissional fiber, projectional fiber, they form white matter of the cerebrum. We are taking the internal structure of the white matter of the cerebrum. So because there is structural continuity with the midbrain, pons, medullary spinal cord, this is why that we, after describing the white matter of the cerebrum, we continue to discuss the white matter of the midbrain, pons, medulla oblongata, and funiculi of the spinal cord. Thank you very much.